Mid-50s. Regrets. Not asking out several girls that were crushing on me in my youth. AskReddit. Serious? To all the older folk. 50 plus. How short is life really? What are some of your biggest regrets? M50. I didn't tell some of the people in my life that I loved them enough, then they were gone. Taken by accident or murder. I have never once wished I told someone less that I loved them. 47. Which at this rate is mere moments from 50. Wish I'd learned to manage money at a young age. Wish I'd had more balls and taken more risks instead of letting hesitation and lack of confidence keep me from doing so many things. Wish I'd have changed jobs 15 years ago instead of staying out and stagnating. Wish I'd taken better care of my health and not allowed myself to get so overweight. Maybe then I would have felt more like dating after my wife passed 5 years ago and I wouldn't be alone. All of those are things I can still change though, so maybe there is still time to get my shit together and live a little more peacefully, a little more thoughtfully, instead of letting defense mechanisms and reactions rule my life. Having said that, even though she wasn't by any means planned, I am so glad I have my daughter. She has been the most incredible thing to occur in my life, and makes every day worth living. I am a lucky dad, as she has never given me problems and is truly my best friend. I get the chance to tell her these things and make sure she is positioned to be able to learn from my mistakes and maybe not have so many regrets when she is my age. And maybe if I can turn my life around, I will be in a position to enjoy that life with her for as long as I can. Bottom line, don't hesitate or be afraid to take risks. Don't spend money frivolously, but spend enough to enjoy things. Don't ignore your health. Travel. Meditate. Try to take pleasure in the small things and be aware of the present moment. Love freely and fully. Forgive easily and completely. Don't let stupid shit cause you undue stress and worry. Learn to let things go that you can't control and focus on things that really matter, and learn the difference. Don't worry what people think about you. Do what makes you and the ones you love happy, and take pictures. 60. My regret is that I did not quit drinking sooner. I had no idea how great life could be sober and I drank my way through decades. Highly functional, but still. Quitting wasn't easy, but it is the best thing I have done for my family and for myself. Now, 9 years later, it is a breeze and life is pretty damn good. I'm 55. The hardest part has been dealing with the loss. I literally watched both my parents die of Alzheimer's. I have seen my parents' entire generation swept away too. All my aunts and uncles. Big families. I've lost cousins and friends. One of my brothers and I used to darkly joke that we are now on deck. Then I watched him die. My brothers and I were so close. I saw them and their families weekly. Now we barely see each other at all. I am a very rational person, but sometimes I sit around just wondering and feeling incredulous that all of that could be gone. A whole generation, a whole way of life that I knew, places and people utterly gone. How can it be? Don't get me wrong, there are still beautiful things in life, my grandchildren being one, but what I miss the most about the past is ironically what then gave me the most anxiety. I miss my life having great possibilities. Who will I marry? What will my kids be like? What career will I have? Where will it take me? Then I had plenty of time ahead to dream and wonder. I felt like almost anything was possible. Youth has a vitality about it, an energy, an eagerness that gives way to complacency and then to an aching nostalgia. I was never a Mellencamp fan, but the line "life goes on long after the thrill is gone" feels truer and truer with each passing year. Not keeping toxic people out of my life. I just had a friend rip me off that I knew for about 30 years. He sold my car and is claiming I gave it to him. Had a friend jump into a job I had with a client and decompile my project and take the project from me. Had a boss that was hitting on my fiancée. Even my brother did. Had a boss that made my job a living hell. I can go on and on, but allowing these people to share any of my time was a regret. I wish I had quit that living hell job sooner than I did. I wish I had broken up with a toxic GF sooner. I wish I was better at filtering out who will be my friend. It's kind of a balance. I stayed at the living hell job for over 2 years and saved some pretty good money and worked very hard at my programming skills. But it's still allowing others to do this. All you'll ever have is time. Allowing others to make your time a bad time is cheating yourself. It's not about being so self-centered that you only think about yourself. It's about people that rip you off. I helped a friend from being homeless when his paycheck bounced and I floated him. When I needed help, he said no. Family that doesn't pay you back and won't help you out. Bosses that can't respect worker. They act like you have no other choice. Mid-50s. Regrets. Not asking out several girls that were crushing on me in my youth. Back then I was buff, had a car and money from serving in military part-time. Missed out on some travel opportunities as my then GF didn't want me to go. After that, not many regrets on anything I could change. Meet my wife and knew we would marry after the first date. Been married 30 years. Kids are grown up. House paid off and filling up my retirement account. Holiday overseas several times a year all over the world. I regret being a good little boy and adopting my parents' personal philosophies, rather than seeking out my own. By the time I did, I'd already pissed away 50 years, married twice to the wrong people, failed my children, and found myself in a mental hospital after attempting suicide. Economic security and materialism in exchange for your very soul equals a wasted life. As someone said earlier, life is short, go buy the tickets, now. 54. My mother's last wish whispered to me, spend it all before you die. She died last year at 76. She was sick, and still got flu shot at Walgreens and was in ICU a week later. I didn't realize what she meant until post-death. She had bucket list of everything she was going to do after retirement. Her last day at work would have been April Fool's Day that year she had circled on calendar. She had plane ticket to Germany to leave the next day on 4-week adventure. Her will stated she assumed it would have all been spent so no family fighting. She was wrong. She waited too long in life. So my wife and I are following her lead. We just spent $1,000 on Bruno Mars tickets, and we are going on 1-month cruise around Europe next summer, all from her inheritance. Then when we retire we will blow our fortune on our bucket list. Now to convince my wife to jump out of plane. Life is short they say, and for the most part I feel like it is true. I just turned 63 a few days ago and I clearly remember when I thought 60 was really old. When I turned 50 I entered into panic mode. I started looking back at my life and as ridiculous as it sounds I had a hard time believing all this time has gone by. My 4 boys all grown up. How did that happen? It almost felt like I was in a dream world the whole time and suddenly I woke up. I felt impending doom, like I was going to die soon. I got over that and realized I had been living too fast. That life was passing by and I was too busy to look outside of myself and enjoy the ride. I started to make significant changes to my life, simplifying our existence and reducing work for $$, to a minimum. We left Boston, relocated to Puerto Rico, and after some searching found a 9-acre finca with an old cabin which we have since restored and made off-grid. We did the work mostly ourselves. We now spend our time tending to our home, our farm, ourselves and each other. We both pursue our personal interests, some of which we didn't even know we had until we slowed down. I never thought I would be interested in acting, for example, or my wife's interest in knitting and gardening. We enjoy every day to the fullest, interacting with the nature around us since our home is in a remote area of the mountains of Larry's, PR. I still work for money, part-time, but that will end next month when the $$ kicks in. My suggestion to people out there, live deliberately, forget the pursuit of material things, enjoy your life and the people around you, family and friends. You will see that your life becomes a series of beautiful and fulfilling experiences, and trust me, time will slow down. Ignore the critics. They will eventually realize the same thing, except much later. It's not that life is short, it's that by the time you get to this age, you've really got a lot more things figured out, like managing money, parenting, how to keep up the yard, etc. So you have all this wisdom you learned mostly from experience, but now you're coming around the final turn heading into the home stretch. Wish it was just half time. My biggest regrets are that I didn't get started on a real career before age 30, that I mostly lost connection with my daughters between ages 12 to 22 because we lost common interests and I was traveling too much for work. And my biggest regret is that I didn't treat my wife better than I did all along the way. She's my rock and deserved better than me. And on that topic, I most highly value having shared 37 years so far of marriage. I wish everyone could experience it. It's more than I ever expected. We just keep growing closer. You have so much history together. Words seldom fail me, but it's hard to describe. I fully realize some marriages are just not good, but I'd advise to try harder. We've been through some shit. It was worth it. Thanks for watching some of Redditor's biggest life regrets. Hopefully we can all take something from this and try to avoid them in our lives. Remember to gently tap that like button and subscribe for more content. Post and music and description. Check out these other videos below. See you next time.